Hello everybody, welcome to Stint 2, where we have some drama. I'm going to try and join Jaeger and Urban Pirate here in just a sec. How's it going, gentlemen? So, yeah, about that. So, let's see. Let me pull... is that output? There we go. Maybe that works. Anyway, so yeah, so my teammate, God bless him, is sitting at the exit of the pits instead of in the pits. Yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. So, quick story about him before Stint 2 gets going. We were doing a team versus team race against somebody, and his daughter, he has a daughter that's like 5 or 6, I think. She grabbed his controller, his PS5 controller, and like caused his wheel to desync, and so he just mid-race, yeah, and so he came to a stop in the middle of the race on the track because she killed his car. So I don't know. So and so all yep.
So James and Nick.
There we go.
0.5 of a second into the pits they go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wheel malfunction, says Jack. Oh well. So Jack and Clarky are away. I guess Jack he ended up surrendering a few seconds to Clarky, so Clarky is in front for Stint 2. I don't know what the rules surrounding all that are, but hopefully Jack just conceding the time to them is enough, but who knows. Yeah, call it good. Lil Nicky is away. Batty's away in the Lexus Falsalenta. Next to come out, he is changing the tires on his Porsche, and he is away, so 2 more cars. Yep. Yep. fellas. All right, now officially, welcome to Stint 2. Had a little bit of a handover from Urban Pirate and Jaeger to here. I will keep you up to date with all the action for the next 2 hours. I am DJ Brohawk. I'm actually filling in one of the other commentators, so if we're a little scatterbrained today, or at least for this stint, I do apologize. We're gonna make it through together. Already we have a little bit of a battle developing, a little bit of drama at the start of the stint. Jack had a bit of a wheel malfunction, and so he ended up exiting the pits on accident a little early, and so he had to concede a couple of seconds to Clarky, who was handed the car by Nick right behind AHR's James. And so seemingly that seems to be no harm, no foul there. Clarky is on the mediums. I don't have the fancy little live tires and fuel thing that Urban Pirate had, so I'll just pass the info along. Clarky on the mediums. Jack, or Belfast Bap, as you see on the screen here, is on the softs. Interesting strategy to start on the softs first. We'll see how it pans out for them. 13-second gap to Lil Nicky, who is also on the mediums, and we have Batty, who's on the mediums, about 10 seconds back, 5 seconds back to Valsalenta on the mediums. You see a lot of people starting on the mediums here. I'm going to pull the chat up just in case you lovely folks want to have a word. Hello, everybody. There we go. JP, Bob, Shane. How much of a pen will that be? I don't know. I'm hoping that because Jack conceded the lead to Clarky in the beginning, that's enough of a penalization, if you will. Hello, Gov, Ost, Hansa. Hello, Fun Police. Simon, Joshua. Dylan says, let's go Section 7 racing. I will do my best to keep you all informed how the whole field's doing, because I know that a lot of you are watching various teams out there, so we're going to have a good time. Feel free to chat about almost whatever. Keep it family friendly, at least mostly family friendly. And we'll go from there. A couple of my fellow Americans here. We have Hovercraft, P7. Hello, Ray. How's it going? P8 is Wid, also an American, about a second and a half behind. There might be a battle developing there. Both of those folks are on the medium tire. Then we have Super Vedu, 5 seconds behind, who started on the softs. Hello, Asylum Racer and Larry. How's it going? Then we have RVDW, about 11 seconds behind. They started on the mediums. And we have Strand here, started on the mediums. They're about 15 seconds behind. Yes, Slugsy, family friendly. Although to be fair, everyone's family is different, right? So, you know, my family is equal parts wholesome and terrible. You kind of have to, it depends on which side of the family you're on. You have like your friends that are family that you tend to be a little more open and crude with, so. Hey Nick, how's it going? Yeah, GG's to everyone from Stint 1, Nick. Fantastic stint as always from you. I'm sure your folks will be absolutely fabulous. So we have Strook in P12, and 26 seconds ahead of Ricky Baldy, which is a fantastic name, and they have the kind of the, what is it, Manthe livery with the shark mouth, except that the Manthe one, or is it Manti? I don't know how it's pronounced. With the shark mouth, but that looks more like a military shark mouth, or what is that? It's like a dinosaur? Oh, it has the RAR on it. Okay, that's cool. And then in 14th place in the Mustang is Team MRL's Mike Bish. So, let's see what's going on here. Looks like Jack has taken the lead from Clarky, but that's to be expected because Jack started on the softs. Bus stop got me eventually. That tailwind is disgusting, yeah. I honestly, I'm too much of a baby through the bus stop. I have never been able to figure it out. And therefore, it tends to kill me a little less, but I also lose like 3 or 4 tenths through it every time. So it is a tricky one for sure if you're trying to push at the highest level. We'll see how this battle develops. If it does, you know, with Jack on the soft tires, Clarky would do well to just try and stay in Jack's slip for as long as he can. use that slipstream to really bring back some of the time he would otherwise lose with the tire disadvantage. So we'll keep an eye on that. It looks like the gap is growing a little bit here and there. This is one of the better wind directions, but it's kind of strong. It takes some getting used to if you've practiced it in other ways. Going down the field again, let's see, there's not really anything else in the top 10 developing in terms of battles. So at least for the moment, we're going to stick with the top 2 and see, although Jack has now broken the toe. So at least for now, strategy will have to play a part for all these folks. Of course, Jack still has to use the medium tire. Whether he will do one lap or a number of laps remains to be seen. AHR, we didn't really talk about strategy all that much. What tires are Lil Nicky and Jake on? Same as Clarky in front of them. I'm guessing Batty is Jake. Yes, everyone is on the mediums for these 3 anyway. These 3 are all on the mediums. Only a couple of the cars are on softs right now. Jack is one, Super Vedu is another, and Strook is also on the softs, and so is Mike Bish in the Mustang. So about a third of the drivers started on softs. Jack elected to start on the softs, I think, because he was toward the front of the pack, which makes sense. Hello, Jazz. Hello. I don't know if I said hello to Gov. And is it Y'alls? I feel like that's probably how it's pronounced instead of how my American self would say Jaws. I feel like it's you roll the J there. I'm not sure what a calcitrim driver is, but they are rooting for Valsalenta. While we're going, and we don't have any crazy battles going on, if you missed Stint 1 or didn't really get a chance to look at the liveries, let's have a look at the liveries. This is my team's livery done by Fun Police. This is the AHR Corvette. He always does such a fantastic job with these. I absolutely love this thing. It's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful livery. This is one of Race Asylum's liveries. I believe JP77 does these, who also does a fantastic job. I love the color fading. I mean, it's so well done. You can't even tell that like a bunch of decals are used to make this happen. It's just a really nice like light green fading into like the dark blue, purple. Really nice looking. We have the Race Asylum 650, which is, this one's green and orange, which still has that same really neat fade to it. I think JP does all their liveries. And yeah, this is another one that just looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like a true race car. Then we have Jake in the Lexus, another color fade one. This one actually fades into several colors, which is really cool. So it goes from like a light blue to a pink and purple to an orange in the Lexus. Awesome. I love it. I'm also someone that likes like colorful things. So if you do colorful liveries, you're all right in my book. Next we have Overboost Racing Team's 650. Very clean looking livery with the black and silver and red. I think sometimes they put some green in their livery sometimes. Very clean look. It looks good. Here we have Hiddo with Syndicate Racing, their Corvette. Same kind of like color fading design here. I like the simplicity of the black and then having the trim be the colorful part. I think that's a really neat way of doing the car. Sponsored by Lowe's on the wing there. We have Sector 7 Racing's hovercraft in the AMG with the classic Dale Earnhardt livery. I, an American, know a thing or two about turning left, and especially on this track, so I appreciate Sector 7 having a Dale Earnhardt themed livery. Very appropriate for this track especially, and the American flag on the end of the wing. I am so proud as an American to be seeing this unfold before my very eyes. Very cool. So then we have, I believe this is Sector 7 Racing 2. I don't remember which one's which. But we have the Richard Petty themed livery. Instead of STP, they have S7R, which I think is really, really great. That's really clever. I really like that. Jaeger, welcome, my friend. I love it. Absolutely love it. Then we have Super Venu here in this is kind of like a slate gray 650. Very clean design with the red trim. This is the thing, race cars don't have to have stuff all over them. Also, Lucas, welcome. Yes, GG's to everyone again in Stint 1. It's tough to drive for 2 hours for sure. Really well done to everyone. Next we have this extremely colorful Porsche. This is the opposite. So we have like a clean, you know, gray, silver colored 650. And then we have this eccentric rainbow 911. And there's nothing wrong with either. Like, I like colorful designs that really just shout, hey, here I am, you know, and nothing wrong with that at all. This feels like something an artist made, like someone who does art for a living. This feels very like artist driven, because it's very like, hey, here's all these colors. I love it. I think it's great. Looks pretty cool. Then we have Strand. I believe this is Loose Moose Racing, as it says on the car. This feels like a very... Hey, Del Boy, welcome. Also, hello, Deering. I don't know if I said hello to you before. And Simon. I love this livery because, well, number one, it's got their names on it, which I really like. I love doing that. This feels very... so this is... I can almost read it on the thing. You can zoom in. Nope, they have a bunch of names on there. So this is Strand, who's a Norwegian driver. I believe that's the Norwegian flag. This is a very like Norwegian, Canadian type livery. I mean, you've got the little maple leafs that are the big Canadian thing. We have the moose. We have this car feels very warm. Like it would be very warm in the winter time. So it makes sense that we would have Canadians and Norwegians driving it. It's a very thematic livery. Like it has references to the moose. It has references to like the Canadian flag with the maple leaf, but it's still a very clean looking design. Then we have Strook, who loves to make fun of me for how I pronounce his name for many years with Team Vortex. This is a very interesting livery in that you have like this quadrant thing going on where you have like the back left is simple and black with the Puma. Then you have the back right, which is the color, I can't think of the word, gradient. You have the gradient, and then the front right corner is black, and then the front left corner is the gradient. This is a really thoughtful design. This is not something that's easy to pull off either, because you kind of have to work with the lines of the car. Really cool looking livery for sure. I like it a lot. Then we have Ricky Baldi here with the dinosaur themed livery with the big mouth. This is I find this hilarious. Like, I think it's fantastic. This is a livery that someone put a lot of love into, and this is a team that you could absolutely know that they're gonna have a good time, because no matter what, if you're willing to enter a league or a race or whatever with this thing on, you are a fun individual. That is for sure. Even the wheels match, like, I love it. I think this is great. personally. And then you have GT3 RAR on the back. It's perfect. It's all thematic. Absolutely love this. Then we have Team MRL with the Mustang. And this is another livery that's not trying to do too much, but it looks good. Like, you have like the little accents of the blue or purple. Can't tell exactly what color that is, but it's very straightforward. You have the team logo. Looks good. This is a very clean livery. Like, liveries don't have to do too much. You don't have to have them have all the stuff all over it for it to look good. Very clean livery, looks good. All right. So the gap to the front is now up to 7 seconds. So it looks like Jack is pulling mid to low 45s right now. We're on lap 12. And Jack currently with the fastest lap at a 45.1. I imagine we'll see that come down as the stint continues. Going through the field, Clarky 8 seconds behind, and then there is a pretty sizable gap to Lil Nicky in P3. It almost looks like Lil Nicky may have pitted, or something happened, because 21 seconds is a pretty big gap, and his tires are in better shape than Clarky, so something may have happened while we were going through the field, while I was gushing at everyone's incredible liveries, by the way. Then about 3.5 seconds behind, we have Jakey, and then 6.3 seconds behind, we have Valsalenta. 3 seconds behind, we have Hida. And then 2.5 seconds behind, we have Hovercraft. And we may have a battle forming here between teammates. Wid has reeled in Hovercraft a little bit. They're both on the medium tire. I would say, just like the days of old, Petty and Earnhardt are battling, but I don't know that they actually ever raced each other in real life. So we're going to live out our NASCAR fantasies here, everybody. We're going to pretend that Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty could possibly race each other. We'll keep an eye on that battle as we go along. And Hida has a 1 second penalty. Hold the phone, everybody. We might have a actual battle forming here. For each second of penalty, you lose about double that time, plus the slipstream. Hida is going to take a wide line, and yep, that 2 second gap is completely evaporated. That is why it is so important to be safe through the bus stop if you can. We'll stick with this for the moment. Three-car battle for P6, stint number 2. All of them on the mediums. I know you can't see the tires. All the tire wear is pretty much equal. Hida's tires are a little bit worse off. Fuel is all over the place between the three of them. Also, hello Wayne, welcome. Jack has set a new fastest lap at a 45.0. So he's starting to get his wheels under him, so to speak. All right, here's where we're going to see. Now, the AMG is not that strong in a straight line, if I recall correctly. So it'll be interesting to see if the Corvette, if Hida and the Corvette can pull away a little bit here on the tri-oval and not give up the position despite the mistake. Going through the bus stop. Oh, Hovercraft went a little wide. That might be a penalty. Although Hida did not have a great exit either. It is a half-second penalty for Hida. And Wid got one as well. So Hida is going to make a bit of a gap here between the two teammates. They're both trying to get out of the way. Bit of an awkward moment there between teammates. We'll see how the gap goes. Yes, Hida's going to be able to break the toe, I think. Yep, no problem at all. So we will go back and we will see how these two teammates treat each other. And don't forget about Super Vedu, who's in P9, making up the gap as well. It's less than a second and a half. Now, if you were teammates and They may not be chatting with each other, but if it were me in my situation, if I was Wid and I felt like I was a little faster than my teammate, I might ask him to let me by and just see if I can maybe try and chase down Hida in P6. Deering, yes it is. P2, 3, and 4 are Race Asylum folks. Yeah, so we have Earnhardt and Petty. That's right. That's right. I love it. They're battling in a Mercedes, just as God intended, right? Like, this is all exactly as we remember it in the old days of NASCAR. Nope, he's going for the bump track. He's going to try to work with his teammate here as they go into the bus stop, but Hovercraft carried a little too much speed. Ooh, he wasn't ready for that, and they're both gonna have to back out, and that ended up not being good for either of them. And now look, Super Vedu's been lurking, and he's on the soft, so the McLaren's top end is a little better. If he gets the double toe, which I think is a thing in this game, oh yeah, look at him, he's zooming up on him. He might be able to take both of them around the outside if they even know he's coming. Let's see what happens. They're sticking together. Oh, they're doing like a... Nope. Hovercraft's going around the outside. I thought they were going to do some weird little, like, blockade-looking thing, but nice move around the inside. Maybe a little contact. Ultimately, all right. Let's see if this works. Here we go. That was clean. So now we'll see if Super Vedu can put some distance between themselves and the Section 7 racing teams here on the infield. It does, just in that little segment alone, it feels like Wid is maybe holding back a little bit. Can we see front row? Jack is 12 seconds ahead of Clarkey for now. So there's really not much going on at the front tank. We do have a battle here in P13 and 14. Looks like we missed the move that was made, but Mike Bish able to take P13 from Ricky Baldi. Also, I love that name, by the way. Ricky Baldi. I just know that whichever team this is, and I have to pull the sheet up because I don't remember exactly, but these are some fun people. Stop all the action, I need to go get dinner. Well, there's still 20, how far, right? 22 and a half hours? We still have a long way to go, Bob. 23 and a half? I don't know, 21 and a half? I can't math, I don't. So we have a potential battle developing here between Strand and Struke here. Struke is on the softs, and so he may be able to catch Strand here, but his right rear is about 60% worn, so we'll see what Struke can do with it. We still have these two. Okay, Wid has made the move. Let's see if we can catch when it happened. Nope, we cannot. Must have happened in the turn one. So these two teammates will be hopefully working together going forward. 21 and a half. Thank you. Thank you. Like 24 minus 2 minus 30. It's going to be a long day for me. I'm driving 2 stints, and I'm also streaming Stint 9, so I'm in for it today. I'm in for the long haul. So Super Vedu's made a little bit of a gap, and now Super Vedu's eyes are on Hida. So Super Vedu is on the softs, and his right rear is only about 40% worn, so that's pretty good. Of course, we knew the McLaren would be strong on its tire wear. It's a really strong car when it comes to tire wear right now. Simon, all you have to do, and this goes for anyone that's driving an upcoming stint, all you have to do, no matter what place you're in, no matter where your team's at, Just drive the best you can. Don't, just be safe. So much of this is about being smart and being safe. It's because we still have 21 hours to go. There's no sense in fighting it out. Just drive, you know, just cruise. Jack has lowered his best lap of the session by about 2 100ths. 45.078. Stay on board with these two for the moment. I don't think anything's happening up front in terms of a battle. Jack has pushed that to a pretty sizable margin for now, but Jack is on the softs. Super Vedu, a fellow traction control user, I just want to high five my fellow traction control user. Wayne, I think you're Stint 10, because Stint 9 is Jack again. I'm commentating both of Jack's stints. Tire check front row, he says. Let's see what happens here, and then I'll check the front row. Jack is on softs, and P2, 3, and 4 are all on medium. Wayne, I do know that much. So the Corvette pretty strong. The McLaren's decent in a straight line, but will it be strong enough to overtake Hidda here on the tri-oval? Will he go for a move? He's thinking about it. No, he faked. Unfortunately, him being on the softer tire, it's kind of hard to make a move on the infield. And he's not really close enough to Hidda to make a move. So let's see. Hello, Yupei. How's it going? Yep, Simon, just safe and sound at your own pace. Hidda with a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the tri-oval, and now we have a potential mess on our hands. Corvette will be stronger in a straight line. Will we have our first side-by-side bus stop of the stream? Oh, here we go. What will we do here? Is the McLaren going to back out? Yes, wisely. Smart move by Super Vedu there. This is an example where if it's the final stint on the last lap, no, you're not backing out, right? Here with 21 hours to go, absolutely. This is playing it safe. Plus you have all this time here to use the slipstream, try and get around him into turn 1. Here we go. Will Super Vedu try and take the inside? He is. Hidda gives him space. He tries to rip it around those tires, and a nice clean overtake there. Good driving from both of them there. It's not easy to make an overtake, and to allow an overtake in that corner as well because of how it bends inward. Well done. All right. Let's check out the rest of the field here. It looks like we just had an overtake for P3 by Jakey over Lil Nicky. It must have happened this lap. The gap to the lead for Clarkey is 15 seconds. So that is roughly 1 tire change pit stop with no fuel added. Something to keep in mind. Jakey still 23 seconds behind. Lil Nicky 1 second behind. See how this shakes out. Jakey, of course, a fantastic driver, and the Lexus. You know, now that I'm on comms, I get to reiterate that the Lexus was my dark horse pick. Just gonna inflate my own ego since I have to talk to myself for 2 hours. We gotta do what we can over here. Let's see what's going on elsewhere. Super Vedu's opened a 1 second gap to Hidda. These two still working together back here, although Witt has been overtaken by Hovercraft again. Interesting situation there. These two seem to be about the same pace, give or take. The ideal situation here is whoever's in front of you is slightly faster than you so that they can kind of drag you up to their pace. So it's possible that these two might be having that discussion and deciding who should be in front. So this is kind of a battle, but also not really because it's between teammates. So we're just having our own little Dale Earnhardt versus Richard Petty NASCAR fantasy in the middle of this 24-hour race. Otherwise, these two are still somewhat close to each other, but not really much of a battle here. Mike Bish has been able to pull away a little bit, although Mike Bish is on the softs, whereas Ricky Baldi is on the mediums. We should be seeing our first pit stops here soon as Jack lowers his fastest lap to a 44.9. So the gap up to 17.5 seconds now. Jack really starting to find his pace on the soft tires. And now we have our first pit stop, or at least the first pit stop I've caught on stream. Yes, Jaeger, Super Vedu's having a really good stint. They started on the softs, and so it's a strategy that absolutely can work. But of course, the mediums are mandatory, so they will have to be used at some point. Now we have Jakey coming in as well. Interesting to see the fuel differences between the Lexus and the Corvette. A slight fuel addition for Clarky, and now Clarky is out on the softs. And there goes little Nicky on the inside. Ooh, a bit of an awkward pit exit here. Of course, Clarky is on the soft tire, and if Clarky can maintain P2, and he does, little Nicky is on semi-worn medium tires. Now Valsalenta is into the pits. We have Witt who overtakes Jakey here. Unfortunate situation for Jakey, who's on the softs, whereas Witt is on the medium, so it'll have to be the trio before Jakey can really make a good move, most likely. Valsalenta is out on the softs. We have Hovercraft who's in the pit. Hovercraft now out on the softs. Interesting to see the different strategies here. You know, AHR, we talked about doing at least 25 laps on the mediums, and we have people pitting on lap 20 and 21 to get rid of the mediums. The Corvette is, I wouldn't call it terrible on tires, but it is not the best. It's no 650. So now Jack really needs to put his foot down and hammer out as good a laps as he can. Because he is essentially doing an overcut here. So here we have teammates once again, Clarky and Lil Nicky. Here, I don't know why I was looking behind there. We'll see if a battle forms here. It looks like Clarky may have a little bit more pace than Lil Nicky at the moment. I guess Lil Nicky's on the medium, so that makes sense. Super Vedu softs are looking pretty worn at this point. Others zig, but Lil Nicky zags. Lil Nicky, the Race Asylum Rebel, not pitting when the others do. Estina Calda, welcome. GG's on your stint, stint 1 there. And so Jakey was able to get past Wid, which is not surprising since Wid was on the medium tire and Jakey is on the soft tire. So I don't think we'll see much of a battle here just because it's really hard to keep up through the infield on the mediums when someone else is on the softs. We have Hovercraft, who is half a second ahead of RVDW here. Although the Porsche here is on mediums, we have a pit stop from Strand here for Loose Moose Racing. Looks like they'll be shedding the mediums for softs here as well. With a slight fuel bump, and away they go. Gap currently to Jack and Clarkey is 43 seconds. I want to say that it was about 42 and a half when Clarkey came out of the pits. We have 2 more pit stops here. Hidda and Wid coming in almost at the same time. They will be taking off the mediums for the softs as well. I don't know what strategy Jack is using, even though he's my teammate. So this is, I don't know what he's going to do when he pits, essentially. No advanced information for you stream snipers out there. A little bit of fuel added for Hidda. Hidda actually added a bunch of fuel. That was more than I would have thought. And now Hidda and Wid both on the soft tire. And here we have Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt again going wheel to wheel at Daytona. Just like in yesteryear. And we have the Porsches in behind. Just kind of lurking there in P10. Does Jack even know DJ? Honestly, I have no idea. We've talked about it enough in the Discord that I feel like he has probably seen the messages. So, I don't know. I feel like he's usually, I know he's kind of a goofball, but he's usually on top of this stuff. Looks like Wid, excuse me, and Hovercraft are working together to get away from RBDW here, although someone who's not getting away, not letting them get away is Strook, although Strook looks like he could pit at any time now. His right rear is almost completely gone on the softs. And it looks like he is coming in now. He throws the indicator on. Strook coming in. He was on the softs. We'll see what he does here. See what else we have going on here. The gap has increased slightly. It's now 43 and a half seconds from Jack to Clarkey. Jack being on lap 25 is on the softs is interesting. He's actually looked after his tires pretty well. So. Hey, Mr. DJ, put the record on. Look, if I had a record player hooked up to my stream, I would do it right now. Also, hello, Kings. Welcome. So, yes, Simon, Jack doing what he does best. Yep. He's doing his own thing, which that is indeed what he does best. Come on, Stroot, go Vortex. And go CLR, I believe it says from Jaeger. So we have Lil Nicky coming into the pits now on lap 24. Lil Nicky will almost certainly be abandoning the mediums for softs from here on out. Let's run down the field here. So we have Belfast back or Jack, so it is for Team AHR in P1 for the moment. Then we have Clarkey from Team Race Asylum in P2. We have Super Vedu from one of the MRL teams in P3. We have Jakey from Race Asylum in P4. Lil Nicky from Race Asylum in P5. Then we have Valsalenta, who is right behind Lil Nicky in P6 for Team ORT. We'll come back to this battle real quick. We have Syndicate Racing's Hida in P7. P8 is, I'm sorry, not Syndicate, Sector 7 Racing. No, this is Syndicate. Hovercraft is Sector 7. My apologies, my mistake. WID is P8 in Sector 7. And then the other Sector 7 team is P9 with Hovercraft. And we have Ready to Race, RBDW in P10. We have Strook from Team Vortex, P11. We have Loose Moose Racing, P12. The other MIL team in P13. And I don't remember which team this is because it's not on their car. They didn't help a commentator out. I'll tell you what team it is. Hang on. It is Last Minute Racing in the 911. So we have Ricky Baldi pitting. Gap is now up to 44 seconds. Jack is still okay. Jack is going hard. I'm actually surprised Jack hasn't pitted yet. That last lap was a 45.9. The gap has come down a little bit. To Clarkey in P2. Is this groove commentary? I don't know. Is it? Also, hello, Sam, welcome. L. Sam, welcome. So, anyway, let's throw it back on the TV camera. I always go to the chase cam and always forget to take it off. See if any battles are forming here. Super Vedu is 2 seconds. Well, Super Vedu is now in the pits. So here we have Valsalenta, who is being chased by little Nicky here, less than a second behind. This voice is familiar. AHR cut above today. Yeah, I have some very talented teammates. But still 21 hours to go. Anything can happen. So Lil Nicky and Valsalenta both on softs. We will see how this one plays out. Let's go on board with Lil Nicky here. They're both in the 650. One thing I don't like about this game is how, and this is probably how it is in real life, but when you're making a sharp turn, your hand basically just prevents you from seeing anything at all. If you need a color commentator, I am free, DJ. Can't guarantee I will talk about the racing, though. Nay, you know, I feel like if we reach a point in this stint where I need to talk about some golf, I will absolutely bring you on. It looks like the gap to Valsalenta has grown a little bit. We'll see how this develops here. Everyone would appreciate a 20-minute rant about why macaroni and cheese is terrible. All right. First of all, that would make for an interesting debate, because I think macaroni and cheese is fantastic. Also, I cannot believe Jack has not pitted yet. Does Jack know that you're allowed to pit in this race? The gap is still growing a little bit. We'll see if he comes down this time. And he is, mercifully, as his pit boss. Let's see what he does. I did say we haven't talked about strategy a lot, and one of my other teammates is questioning whether or not he knows if mediums are mandatory. This is how organized we are at AHR. It's like, yeah, this is fine, right? Let's see if he went with a strategy to go lighter on fuel with the mediums. We'll see. All right, away Jack goes. Let's see where Clarky is in all this. He is back on the softs again, with about a 15.5-second gap. So we'll see how this goes as it develops. James, I have no idea. I don't know what sorcery Jack was using. I could not get 22 laps out of the softs when I tested it at midnight the other night. And this man has gotten the softs to go 26 laps, and it's daytime. I'm telling you, my team, I have some incredible teammates. I don't know what kind of sorcery they cast on this stuff before, he bathed them in mac and cheese before hitting the track. Okay, so the gap is actually about 13.5 seconds now. It's come down a little bit. That might be a penalty for Jack too, and it's not. He got away with it. All right, let's go down the field again and see if there are any battles going on. Valsalenta has broken the slip here. We do have some lapped traffic coming up here for Little Nicky. It could be interesting to see. Wid has a penalty, and now we have Super Vedu in between the two Sector 7 racing teams. How dare this random 650 break up our Petty versus Earnhardt race? Be right back, gonna break my R2. No, everyone taking it easy through the bus stop, although Wid has a penalty, so Super Vedu is going to take P7. Whether Hovercraft can do anything about this or not, although Hovercraft got kind of a run. Let's see what happens here. So, Hovercraft pokes to the outside for a moment. Oh, this could get messy. Oh, this could get messy. Is he ghosted? Oh wait, no, ghosting is not a thing in this. That was almost, you almost saw a catastrophe live on stream. Ooh, I wouldn't call that weaving, but there was definitely some defensive maneuvers being taken in a very short period of time. I love this view. I love having him being on the front car and looking behind. I think that's really neat. Chat has gone off the rails about mac and cheese. Come on, folks. We still have 21 hours. We got to talk about the racing for at least the next 5 or 6 hours. Then we can start getting into the fun stuff. So, on to the tri-oval. And it looks like... Let's see, what do we have here? We have Hida, who's only 3.5 seconds ahead. So let's see what happens here. Will the teammates work together? Or can they? Can they work together? The gap to Hovercraft and Wid looks a little too big to maybe make something happen here. Into the bus stop we go. pretty good run for Hovercraft. He's going to have a chance at it. I don't know about Wid. Hovercraft's going to have a chance at it. Slides to the outside. So hard to gain time on the tri-oval if you're not in the slipstream, especially because the AMG's not all that good in a straight line compared to the others. Here we go, into turn 1, a defensive line for Super Vedu. No move attempted, although Super Vedu went a little wide. Here we go. It's all kicking off, as you like to say in the UK. Three-way battle. Hovercraft went in a little deep. We have a cutback from Super Vedu. They held it. That was clean, I think. I don't think Super Vedu touched him. AMG using that acceleration to get in front of the dog leg. Here we go. Will we see a move into this corner? No. Wid right behind. I think Wid went a little wide there. Let's watch it happen from Wid's perspective. Super Vedu faking a move you can't really overtake on this corner. Although that did cause Wid to have to slow down a little bit more than he might have liked. So here we go. A Super Vedu, or should I say a Sector 7 Racing sandwich with MRL in the middle. Wid backing out a little bit. Oh, had to get on the brakes a little harder than he thought. Maybe his concentration was broken a little bit there. Ultimately ended up surviving. That was a little scary. So here we go. Super Vedu now in the tri-oval with Wid in tow. Can Super Vedu make a move? Don't think so. He's thinking about it. Hovercraft takes a very steady line, maybe a little wide, but so did Super Vedu. This gives Wid the opportunity to slide inside. Oh, we were 3 wide for a moment. Oh, now Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt are back at it again. A defensive line for Hovercraft who goes in deep. Here comes Super Vedu trying to take the inside. Oh, and he got a little traction control activation on the way out. He couldn't hold it in first gear. Woo! That's what we're talking about. This is not over. No, now we have teammates back to back. Super Vedu's still lurking. Everybody on the soft tires at the moment. Jack in P1 is one of the few people that has not used the medium tires yet. So here we go. On to the tri-oval once again. While they're there, let's take a quick peek through the field, see if anything else is going on. We have a potential battle with Mike Bish and Ricky Baldy, although Mike Bish needs to get out of the way a little Nicky, which I think that probably will happen here in a moment. Maybe. He slides outside, little Nicky gets the tow, and around he goes. All right, back to this, through the bus stop. Here. Get the popcorn out, great racing. Oh, absolutely. This is what we want. Super Vedu whips it around the outside. See if he can grab a tow from Hovercraft here. It looks like that's what's going to happen. Maybe not any communication between the two at first. Now Hovercraft slides over. Here we go again. Around the outside goes Super Vedu. Can he get it to hold around the outside? No. A little bit of a blockade by Hovercraft. I don't know. I doubt that was intentional. Oh, and Hovercraft goes off onto the grass. Oh, no. Dirty tires. Oh, there's contact. Oh, the dirty tires that Hovercraft had caused some contact. I don't think there's any damage. No damage between the two. Now Wid gets to build a little bit of a gap. And Hovercraft goes wide again. Maybe the tires are still dirty. Super Vedu can't really take advantage of it, though. Back onto the tri-oval we go. While they're on the tri-oval, oh, Hovercraft gets loose again. His tires are, his right rear is only about 40% worn, so it shouldn't be that bad. quickly. Let's go through the rest of the field. Is anything going on? Not really. The gap to P1 from P2 is about the same. So we go back to the battle we have here into the bus stop. They're going side by side for a second, but Super Vedu backs out. He tried to get Hovercraft to take a defensive line, and it kind of worked, but it didn't work the way Super Vedu wanted it to. Now the gap to Wid has actually grown to 2 seconds, so in some way this has actually worked out for Team Sector 7 Racing. Chat is completely off the rails. There's good racing going on, and you people are talking about food? Come on. Come on, y'all. Keep it together. Here we go. Super Vedu around the outside once again. Into turn 1, and Hovercraft goes deep. We have the old switcheroo, and Super Vedu sticks it. Beautifully executed. Here we go. Will there be a move from Hovercraft? No, I don't think so. Super Vedu just took off there. Now let's see if he can chase down Wid. Hovercraft did well to hold up Super Vedu for a while there on worse tires. Super Vedu on much fresher soft tires. Wid's soft tires are also pretty worn. So, that was an exciting few laps. I'm excited. Still have half the stint to go. So Lil Nicky has not really put a gap on the lapped traffic of Ricky Baldi. Using Lil Nicky, the toe of Lil Nicky to gain some time on Mike Bish. Mike Bish is on the mediums now in P14. I love the Mustang. I just want to go throw this out there real quick. This Mustang, this generation of Mustang is absolutely beautiful. If I weren't so broke, I would own one. But alas. After that spicy racing, let's get back to talking about food. Y'all are gonna run out of stuff to talk about by the time this 24-hour race is over. If you're already talking about food. Ricky Baldi. I love it, dude. I love it so much. All right, going down through the field, let's just start at the top. We have Team AHR, Belfast Bap, aka Jack, 16 seconds ahead of Clarkey from Race Asylum, who is 17.5 seconds ahead of Jakey from Race Asylum, 12 seconds ahead of Valsalenta from ORT, 4 seconds ahead of Lil Nicky. 10 seconds behind is Lil Nicky's with Race Asylum as well. We have Hida from Syndicate Racing here, P6. About 6.5 seconds behind, we have the first of the two Sector 7 Racing fellas in the AMG, P7. We have about 3 seconds gap to Super Vedu, one of the Medway Racing League teams. And well, hold the phone. We have a battle brewing once again. These two just can't get away from each other. DJ, you getting a Mustang GT 500? Man, look, if I had that kind of money, honestly, the regular Mustang GT has so much power now, you don't even need anything else. Here we go, Hovercraft around the outside. Is he gonna make it stick? Super Vedu goes a little wide, but does not leave a gap. Oh, a little bit of a mistake from Hovercraft. He gets squirrely, and then Super Vedu able to increase the gap just a little bit. Going back down the field, P10 is Stroop, 21 seconds behind Hovercraft. Then about 8.5 seconds behind, we have Strand from Loose Moose Racing. Then about 27 seconds behind, we have RVDW in P12. And about 30.5 seconds behind, we have Ricky Baldi in P13, still being towed around by Lil Nicky. And then about 3 seconds behind, we have Mike Bish from the second Medway Racing League team. Ricky Baldi in the last minute racing Dinosaur 911 that I absolutely just love. And then this is Team Ready to Race in the very colorful Porsche that I also love. So this is the only real battle we have on the track at the moment. So we're gonna stick with it for now. If you wanna, if you want to / need to see any other cars, just give me a shout in the chat. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake from Hovercraft. I think that's gonna be a penalty. We'll see. Yes, half-second penalty for Hovercraft, and that's gonna take him out of slipstream range, which I know has to be frustrating. Hovercraft has really been fighting this AMG. It is called Rexy. Sexy Rexy, the 911. So the slipstream is broken for the time being between Hovercraft and Super Vedu, so... Nay, I think the world does not need to give you a microphone for 2 hours. That could be dangerous. You could suck me into the mac and cheese chat, and then that would be bad, because then the stream would be completely off the rails. Hello, welcome. Game over. I like that little thing. So, something developing here potentially. We have the blue flag waving for Loose Moose Racing. Making onboard from Valsalenta. There you go. So this is, we're on board with Valsalenta for a moment. We will see how the lapped traffic issue develops here in the next lap or so. Valsalenta putting down some pretty solid lap times, all in the 45s for the last several laps, so that's good, solid pace. The rules are that whatever a commentator calls you is your new name. Very smooth on the steering wheel. Yep, look at that smooth inputs. My inputs are not that smooth, for the record. I tend to flop around a little when I drive. Alright, after the bus stop, we'll go back to regular camera. Let's see how Valsalenta handles the bus stop here. Little squirrely, but they make it work. Well done, Valsalenta. 12 seconds behind Jakey and 4 seconds ahead of Little Nicky. So Super Vedu has closed the gap a little bit to Wid at this point. Hovercraft, it looks like. Oh, Hovercraft has picked up some damage. I don't know if we'll be able to see where Hovercraft had a moment, but we had talked about a little earlier that Hovercraft was struggling in the AMG. They were getting loose a lot under power, and now it looks like that's caused a bigger problem, as now there are 2 bits of the car with damage, and this is a heavy damage race, so that will have to be repaired at some point. But you can see the AMG is only getting up to 155 with the damage. That is significantly slower than the normal top speed of the car. I suspect Hovercraft is probably just going to try and ride this out, but still gotta be frustrating having a good run with their teammate for a while there, and now suddenly the damage is picked up, and now Struck has to see this and be thinking there might be a position up for grabs before this stint is over. We will see how this affects Hovercraft's lap times going forward. So here we have the blue flag. Loose Moose Racing still... Jack probably about 1.5 to 2 seconds behind at this point, just kind of counting it in my head. Let's see how this is handled. This is something that we at AHR talked about a lot in terms of how to properly handle this if it happened to us. Bob, absolutely. The loss of pace can be devastating, but you have to think if you just pit and fix the damage, that's a good 20-second time loss by itself, so it might actually be faster with his tires being that worn out to just deal with it. So Dean says, can we get a full rundown of the leaderboard, please? Absolutely. Once we see how this blue flag lap traffic is handled, because P1 has approached P11, see if anything comes of it. Jack now about 1 second behind, just counting it in my head. So at some point in the near future, we're going to need to see how Strand lets Jack by. They're both on the soft tire. Into turn 1 we go. If Jack is lucky and has timed this right, there won't have to be this really awkward letting go of the leader. I don't think Jack is being held up yet, but we are reaching that point, so maybe after this corner, Strand may want to yield. Although, to be fair, the tri-oval is a much easier place to do it. Jack's throttle issue will mean he doesn't catch much on the oval. That's actually unfortunate. Yep, he is indicated to the right, which means that he is going over to the right, I think. Maybe. Although, to be fair, he should probably lift and get out of the way. Yep, there he goes. He's lifting. Maybe a hair late, but ultimately that was handled very well by both. So, no harm, no foul there. Let's go down the leaderboard per Dean's request. So we have Team AHR with Belfast BAP, aka Jack, so it is in P1. 21.5 seconds behind is Race Asylum with Clarkey. Then we have another Race Asylum team 15 seconds behind in P3 in the Lexus. 13 seconds behind we have Team ORT in P4 with Valsalenta. Lil Nicky's closed the gap a little bit. It's 2.5 seconds now. Another Race Asylum team. P6 is Hida, 13 seconds behind. Hida is with Syndicate Racing. We have the first of the Sector 7 racing teams in P7 with WID. Very shortly behind them is one of the Medway Racing League teams in P8 with Super Vedu behind the wheel. Struck is P9, and there we go. We were talking about it before. We caught that nicely. Real quick, we'll go over that move here. A move to the inside with Struck. Manages to make it stick with that 911. Nice move around the inside. Of course, Hovercraft, I think, still has the damage. But look at how much time Hovercraft has lost. Hovercraft is the other Sector 7 racing team. Hovercraft was 20 seconds ahead of Struck only a few laps ago, and the damage has made it to where his car is significantly hampered. I mean, you can see the lap times, 49.6, 50.3. Even hard tires with no damage would be faster than this, so that's got to be real frustrating. And you're in this pit window where it's really hard to just say, okay, I'm going to pit and change tires, because the softs won't make it till the end. And so you're in a real difficult situation as you see Struke with a penalty, but it won't cause Hovercraft to catch up. P11, Loose Moose Racing. 10 seconds behind, and there Hovercraft goes to pit, finally putting his car out of its misery to get the damage fixed. Ready to Race his team is the team in P12, 35 seconds behind Strand, and then 24 seconds behind is Sexy Rexy, Ricky Baldy for Last Minute Racing, and then 5 seconds behind is the other Medway Racing League team, Mike Bish in the Mustang. Yes, ultimately that was a really well executed overtake without losing too much time. Maybe a hair late on letting it go, but either way, no harm, no foul. Everyone got by and everyone stayed on the gray stuff. So, let's see what we have going on here. Struke is a rocking alien. Yeah, Struke is a heck of a player. Absolutely. We're going to keep an eye on this battle. Not right this second, but the gap is now under 2 seconds. Valsalenza to Little Nicky. Here's these two again. We've been following them almost this entire stint. Please tell me there's a Gary Baldy on that team. I don't know. I feel like there should be a Harry Baldy on the team. Thanks, Vedu does really well for a controller driver. Absolutely. Anybody who plays this game on controller has my respect, because I can't. So here we go, a battle for P7. Hello, Wid, my old friend. I'm sure Super Vedu is saying here. It's a shame that Hovercraft picked up that damage, because we had a really nice three-way battle going on. Checking the tire situation, Wid's tires are significantly more worn, and Wid has significantly less fuel, so I think they're on a slightly different strategy here. So we will see if the superior tires of the McLaren can make up the difference. Richard Baldwin. Nick, we're trying to be family friendly. This is even your channel. Although I guess if you say it, you know, it's allowed by proxy, right? The Baldy bunch. Does he steer with motion sensor? Bob, you're still on about that? Come on, man. Ooh, Wid might have picked up a penalty. That was a little questionable looking. Vedu with a fastest lap, a fastest personal best of 45.1. That's only a couple tenths off the fastest lap of the race, so Vedu's had a really nice stint. But can Super Vedu get around Wid? Wid has proven to be a very strong blockade in the clean racing way. A barrier to P7. Still about 4 tenths the gap. There is a car in front. That is... Yes, that is Hida, who's about 3 seconds ahead. I'm not sure how the gap was before, because my brain only remembers so much, but you can see the pace of Hida has dropped off a little bit. Hida's tires are in pretty rough shape. They'll be pitting in the next lap or two for certain. Here we go on to the tri-oval. Clarkey into the pits in P2. And Jakey into the pits as well. The Race Asylum fellows rocking a similar strategy. All right, can the McLaren use the slipstream from this point to overtake going into turn 1. You can see the gap closing. This is Super Vedu's chance. Bob, I don't think he uses motion sensors. Valsalenta into the pits. Around the outside goes Super Vedu. Little bit of contact with Wid. No position change for the moment. Uh-oh, look out. We have Jakey coming out of the pits now. This could be a little awkward. Jakey manages to get it into the corner just in time. Maybe a quarter second more time in the pits could have been disastrous. This is technically a battle for position, although the tire strategies are very different here. Wid, however, can use the slipstream of Jakey to maybe pull a bit of a gap on Super Vedu. Looks like Super Vedu still has about 4 or 5 laps left, whereas Wid may be on their last lap before they have to pit. Chat has... Here we go. Is Wid going to make a move into the bus stop? No, he's going to back out. Wisely backs out, although he doesn't get a great line through the bus stop. Little squirrely from Wid, but he will have the toe of Jakey. Super Vedu with the double toe. Will Wid come into pit this lap? Yes. There we go. So, slightly different strategy. Hida is into pit as well. Now, will Super Vedu go for a move? He is. He's going to tuck it down the inside. Maybe some lag contact there. Jakey manages to make it stick around the outside. Whew. The sky is so pretty. I love this game sometimes. The rest of the time it drives me mad. I mean, we are in the same Discord, right? So how many times do you think I have said how half-baked Gran Turismo is? Now, Jakey able to pull a little bit of a gap on the infield. The Lexus is ridiculous on the infield. Its low-end acceleration is ridiculous. Of all the cars I've driven here, the current version of the Lexus is the best in the infield that I've seen. Oh, a little squirrely for Super Vedu, and that's going to be another loss of time going on to the tri-oval. But still some toe to be had, so that gap will come down a little bit, I think. The Lexus's top end is not great compared to some of the others. Looks like Super Vedu may have gotten a little loose again. Little Nicky into the pits now. Now Jakey has broken the toe, although Jakey, no shame in losing a little time to Jakey. Jakey is a fantastic driver himself. There was another car that went into the pits, perhaps down the order. Yes, it was Mike Bish in P14. So here we go, P1, Jack has almost a 1 minute advantage over P2. 4 now, Jack still has to make one more pit stop. I suspect that Clarkey has made his last pit stop. See if there are any other battles forming. We know about this one. This one was a battle that Jakey has now started to pull away. Here we have Valsalenta and Lil Nicky. I talked about this before. Lil Nicky has closed the gap. It is now under a second. And they both are on fresh tires with the same amount of fuel in the same car. So this is absolutely a battle for position in this stint. Valsalenta gotten the gap up to a second. There will be a little bit of slipstream available for Lil Nicky. We've gone from mac and cheese to arguing about whether the sticks or motion controls or motion sensor is better on the pad. Not only that, but it's basically infighting between my teammates, which is great. This is a good look for Apex Hunter Racing. Absolutely, James. The pace has been fantastic. Here comes Lil Nicky using a slipstream, and around he goes. A nice, easy move into turn 1, but this battle is not over. Absolutely not. Bob, I don't care if you argue about it. Honestly, like, I would rather y'all be chatting than just to be quiet in here, because then I have nothing to talk about, you know? Yeah, Leo, so how about this race? I didn't know I was coming to a PS5 controller convention and then a race broke out. I mean, come on. Here we go on to the tri-oval. Valsalenta and Lil Nicky may just trade positions on the tri-oval for the next few laps. Pretty interesting to see how this pans out. So here we go. Let's check out that overtake again here. Lil Nicky on the tri-oval. Of course, the slipstream with Valsalenta is so strong with these McLarens. Valsalenta elects to not wait. Trying to take it side by side, forces Lil Nicky to back out. Completely valid tactic. But that also means you're going to give up the position, potentially, again, going into turn 1, as we have right here. How about the battle with Wid and Hida? We will get to it in just a moment. Endorphin, also welcome. Good to see you. No move there. I think we can go back. Similar thing going on here with Wid and Hida. It's about a half-second gap. Hida in the Corvette. Going to get a massive, massive run on Wid. Will he take the move into turn 1? He's going to go for it. No, he's not. Ooh, there might have been a little contact. Hida, yep, Hida backs out. There was a little bit of contact there, so Hida does not try to overtake there. Fair play to all involved. Sometimes it happens. Always give the position back. It's just easier. If you're not sure, just wait. It's just easier that way. So we have two battles going on. One for P5 and one for P7. They're not all that far apart from each other. Let's see if anything else is going on. Here we go. Stick with this for a moment, and then we'll go check back on the battle in front of them here. Will there be a move made here? No. Hida is going to try and... All right, we'll leave this for just a moment. We'll go through here. Valsalenta, about a half-second gap to Lil Nicky. Probably a big enough gap to where Lil Nicky won't be able to make it up in the tri-oval at this point, so we're going to go back to these two. Corvette much stronger in a straight line than the AMG. Yep, you can see the gap come down. Here they go through the bus stop. A little bit of a sketchy bus stop by both of them there. A little slow, and a penalty for Hida, so that's going to take him out of slipstream range. Gotta be frustrating to have that happen. Checking back in on the battle of P5, the gap has opened up a little bit. Lil Nicky not able to use the slipstream to catch up. Jaeger points out, yes, Strook has had a really nice stint up into P9. Leo says, do I cheer for the Portuguese guys because I'm also Portuguese, or the RA guys because I'm friends with a lot of them? James says both. I say, why not both? Why not cheer for everybody? Cheer for some good racing. Strook having a stonking stint. Stonking must be a UK thing. Jack should be pitting any minute now. If you cheer for everybody, you win. You as the fan win, because somebody's got to win, right? So we have Super Vedu in the pits for the last time for the stint. Here we go again. The gap is closed now. Go everyone, I like it. Little Nicky almost took the fastest lap away, missed it by 3/100ths of a second. 10 laps, like, well, Jack, you can't see it, but Jack's about to run out of fuel, so he better pit soon. Little Nicky pokes his nose into the inside, but not really committed there. More of a, hey, how are you doing on the radar kind of thing. Letting Valsalenta know, I am here. Is there no way for that banner to not cover the fuel and tires? Please hold. If the stream blows up, I'm sorry. Whoop. There we go. Well, see, James, I thought it was deliberate, but then in stint 1 they had the live tires and fuel picture. So they clearly, I guess, doesn't matter if we share the info or not. The problem with that is you're happy for the winner but disappointed with the rest. That's funny. It's actually funny. Funny you say that, Leo, because I think we could be happy for everybody. You're like extra happy for the winner. And speaking of pit stops, here we go. Jack in for the last time. My understanding, James, was that those banners were made so that people couldn't see tire and fuel info. But then when Urban Pirate had that info on the screen in stint 1, I was like, well, I guess it's not a secret after all. The banner just looks better. But, I mean, it's easy for me to turn it back on. I just click a button here and there it is. So Jack, 45 liters and on the medium, so here we go. We will see what the gap is. Here comes Clarkey in P2, so there's still a pretty good gap, but there is 16-ish laps to go, I think, if you include lap 53, so down comes the gap to P2. Keep the banner down. I know, Bob, I can't please everybody. So the gap to P1 looks like it's 27 seconds. So that will come down because Clarkey is on the soft tire and Jack is on the medium tire, and it's starting to get dark, which means the mediums might have a little bit of trouble warming up. Yes, 27 seconds or so. Jakey 15 seconds behind. Then we have Valsalenta 20 seconds behind. These two still going at it. Since Jaeger and Urban Pirate had the info, if you want to know a specific car, team, or whatever, I'll just tell you. Leo, it is true that a lot more people are not winning, but number one, everyone had to qualify to be in this race. There were more than 14 teams that entered. Number two, just getting the car around the track for 24 hours is impressive by itself. I mean, it's hard, you know. And another thing is, there's so many talented drivers in this race. Like, there's no shame in not finishing on the podium or not finishing in the top 10 even, because it's just there's so much talent in this race. Like, there's people, so many names I recognize of people that are so much faster than I am. It's just like, just go out and drive and have a good time, and that's why you celebrate everybody. It's like, this is a collective effort by all these teams to have a 24-hour race that's fun and enjoyable, and the racing is good and it's not full of toxicity. Like, that is worth celebrating all to its own. Like, everyone that makes it around the 24 hours should get a high five, no matter where they place. James, you're asking for miracle work. Actually, it's really not miracle work. I could probably do it actually while I'm live, but I was thinking about that actually. I was thinking about that earlier. I could make that happen probably. But anyway, we can worry about that later. I could actually also do what Urban Pirate and Jaeger did, but that's a little bit harder to do live on stream. Drama. Leo wants drama. Well, you have drama on your screen as we have a battle for P4. Less than half a second between two 650s. No, James, I appreciate the thought. I'll talk to Urban Pirate about it. He's the one that puts in a ton of effort into making these banners and stuff. Can I check up? Not sure what you mean by that, Endorphin, but let's see what happens here to turn one. I'll go down through the field because I see that you have S7R in your name, and so I'm sure you want to know how your teammates are doing. So I will look at that in just a moment. So no move into P1 or turn one for Lil Nicky. So let's check up on the Sector 7, folks. So we have P6 Super Vedu, who's 3.5 seconds ahead of Wid. Wid and Hitta still going at it as well. A little bit of a gap there. We'll see how that comes down. Wid still in P7. Strook still a good ways behind. Oh no, and Hitta hit the tires, and that's damage. Oh no. Catastrophe for Hitta. Oh, that's brutal. Hitta is going to have to... Oh, that's brutal. Steven says a hot dog is a sandwich. Well, first of all, I agree. But brutal mistake for Hitta there. That's one of the toughest things that can happen to you, is when you're just trying to squeeze out that little extra space into turn one and the tire barrier punishes you. That is brutal. And this is what I mean when I say that a 24-hour race, anything can happen. Something like this happens, and now Hitta is going to lose tons of time over this. Hitta has to be feeling terrible about it. That is tough. Yeah, Bob, that is brutal. So we're going to see Strook potentially make up another position. You can see the Corvette struggling to get to 150 miles an hour. Normally they get up to about 160 or more here. Yeah, JP, I have hit that more times than I'd like to admit, and I don't normally go near them specifically because it just feels like they reach out and grab you. So that battle is no longer ongoing. Let's check the rest of the field here. Hovercraft and Strand may have a little something going on here for P10. Both of these cars are a lap down, but this is a potential battle for position. Keep an eye on that one. We have blue flag alert here. Mike Bish not that far ahead. We'll see if anything comes of this here. Probably wait until the tri-oval. That seems to be the method of choice. And then we have Hida in the pits to repair the damage. Yep. Put on fresh soft tires as well. That barrier is even scarier in VR, dude. I believe that wholeheartedly. So Struck has gained another position. This is what I mean when I say safety. These races, safety is so important. Struck has driven a perfectly clean, safe race and has gained 2 positions. At least 2. It might have even been more. I think Struck might have started in P12. This is what I mean. You just drive and take it easy and worry about, you know, pressing as the race gets later. You know, stint 10, 11, 12. That's when you start trying to maybe take some risks. But for now, if you just keep it clean, a few penalties. Now Witt is starting to catch up to Super Vedu here. So we know that Mike Bish has the blue flag and is only about a second ahead. But Super Vedu is on the medium, so there may be something to that. Witt is on the softs. Mike Bish is on the softs. So it's actually really hard when you're in a blue flag situation like this safely give up the position, because there are parts of the track where you are faster than them, and so there's this really hard, like, lap traffic's supposed to get out of the way for sure. Well, when I say take it easy, I just mean like not getting penalties and things like that. He's been consistently driving 46.0, so he's either locked in, which he probably is because he's a really good player, or he's taking it easy in the sense of like he's not trying to get into the 45s. That makes sense. And yes, a new fastest lap here for Jakey. Took 58 laps, but there is a new fastest lap here. The gap up top is 25 seconds for now. Of course, Jack is on the medium, so Jack may be struggling a little bit with them. You may have seen it just there, the throttle pedal. Jack has a little bit of a wonky throttle pedal. You can see it ever so slightly not being maxed out. It's certainly not helping. He's probably losing a mile an hour or two. Because normally you're at 173, 174. With the wind like that, but Jack making it work. Yes, Jack has done an incredible stint. Him getting the soft tires to last like 26 laps is ridiculous. I can't. I don't know what sorcery he does. He's probably just really smooth. And his strategy of using the mediums last is actually a solid idea because the Corvette tends to gain some pace when it has less fuel in it, like most cars, obviously, but the Corvette, it's kind of noticeable. I mean, coming out of the tri-oval, he's only 2/10 behind his fastest lap, which is a 44.9, I think. That's good. That is good, for sure. So let's see what's going on down the order. These two still nose to tail. I think it might be the throttle pedal. I don't know. I mean, surely like 2% throttle is not going to make the tire that much better. Right? I mean, come on. No way. My logical programmer brain will not allow this thought. Lil Nicky just can't seem to make the move happen on Valsalenta. He just can't get quite close enough for the toe to work out. Maybe a little bit of dirty air, preventing a good run off into the tri-oval rather. So, I mean, if it never slides, that is true. I mean, this game especially, like 90% throttle tends to be okay. It's where you go above that where the car starts to slide. Valsalenta's having a really nice drive. If somebody was that close to me for this long, I don't know if I could handle it. The pressure that Valsalenta is under, pretty intense, and is just putting down lap after lap after lap. Resets the throttle for tomorrow. To be fair, in iRacing, you're supposed to set your brake to about 90%. So like if whatever your max brake is, it should only be like 90% in the game, because otherwise you lock your wheels up if the car doesn't have ABS. So maybe there is something to that. All right, I don't think we'll see a move. Yeah, over 0.8. The bus stop giveth and taketh away. Unfortunately, it tooketh away from Lil Nicky there. Now the toe is almost broken, so we will step away from this battle for the moment. And here we go. Another battle has brewed. Wid has had a really nice drive, and now Super Vedu is in his sights, although Super Vedu is on the medium, so we will see how this affects the bus stop. Wid takes a little bit of a slower line to maybe get a run coming out of here. Yep, and that is exactly what happened. Yep, Endorphin, you're correct. This is a much better race. Let's see if Wid goes for the move. I imagine he will, but AMG not great in a straight line. Maybe not enough momentum, although we'll see if he can hold it around the outside on the superior tire, but will Vedu break enough? Oh, Wid tried for the cutback, but that is not a good corner to try a cutback on for sure. Oh, they gave each other space. Woo! Here we go. Going for the cutback again, but Vedu kind of parks on the apex. That was all clean. Oh, Jakey has damage, says Ray. Oh, that is brutal. We will check that out in just a sec. Oh, side by side through the dog leg. Oh, can Wid hold it on the inside? He's going to try. Oh, there may have been some contact. There may have been some contact there. Let's go back and have a look at that. That is the wrong button. There we go. From Super Venu's perspective, side by side through the dogleg is insane, by the way. That looked like a little bit of a lag. It's hard to say. That was tough. I don't think that was intentional. Like, I wouldn't call it dirty driving. It was more of like a lag punt. Or a lag bump. Now, Jakey has damage. Yes, he has 2 bits of car that are damaged. We did not see what happened, but that is brutal for Team Race Asylum. And now, Valsalenta is going to be closing the gap. A spot on the provisional podium is in play for Team ORT and Lil Nicky with the other Race Asylum team. Yeah, netcode. Yes, thank you, James. Oh, Jakey is struggling right now. The gap is going to come down even more. Valsalenta sees this and is probably licking his chops. And look, the gap to Lil Nicky is now 1.5 seconds. Let's keep an eye on this. This will be interesting to see how Jakey handles this, because I'm sure Jakey is aware that his car does not have the pace it once had. And you're so late in the stint, you might as well ride it out. This is brutal. Absolutely unfortunate. This is where I wish Gran Turismo had driver swaps, because you could come in now, fix the damage, and your teammate could then drive an extra 10 minutes or whatever. But because that's not how it works, you're in this really awful situation where you have to finish the stint out with damage, and you're going to lose so much time. Valsalenta is pushing. That is brutal for Jakey. And we can see the top speed difference here, so we'll check them both at the line. So the McLaren is going about 170. Jakey is going 158 with the slipstream, so that is just a massive, massive, massive difference. And looking back at the top real quick, Jack still has a 25-second lead, a 45.3 on the mediums. I'm sorry, that's Clarky. I'm silly. That was me. 45.5. No, Jack has a 45.3 on the mediums too. I saw the future. See, I knew what I was talking about. I foresaw this the whole time. So we are getting close to the end of this stint, and I believe Urban Pirate and Jaeger are going to join me as we start to hand the stint over. So as we get a little closer, I will have them joining me on comms briefly. And as a reminder, in this you pit on lap 68. So, just a few more laps to go for the lead driver. Tires Deej. Jack has been phenomenal, man. So, Jack's tires are fine. He's on the mediums. He's fine. Clarky's softs are pretty worn out. He's got about 30% tread left. I mean, most of these folks are on worn out softs, Wayne, at this point, except for Jack. Jack is the only one who's on mediums and is just driving out of his mind. Still a potential battle brewing here with the last few laps. Valsalenta's tires are in a lot worse shape, and by a lot I mean they're probably 10% more worn across each tire, so I consider that to be a lot considering tire wear is on ×2. And then, of course, poor Jakey, who is now down to P5 and is struggling with the damage. I mean, look at the lap times. Jakey has the fastest lap of the race, and despite his abilities, he cannot do better than a 48 with this damage. And it's just, it's brutal. This is why I preach safety, 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 because even the fastest, Jakey is one of the fastest drivers in this whole thing. And whatever happened, right? Like, the way this game is, it just completely ruins your pace. Jakey has to live with this for the next 4 laps. And between lap 59 when this happened and lap 68, I mean, we're talking, probably should have pitted, right, James? It's probably a 40-second time loss staying out, whereas pitting it would only be 20 to 25 seconds. So that's actually something to think about for future stints. If you... Could I please go back to P1 for a moment? Yes. We have Struck, who just got a penalty, I think, and potential blue flag. Wow, Struck did not get a penalty for that. Interesting. Wait, who went from Fanatec to G29? Okay, so at this point, Struck probably needs to get out of the way. This could be really, really, really awkward. Actually, ooh, that was actually really well handled, all by both guys, because that was actually really well handled. I would not do that, especially because it was kind of, they tried to make, you know, it seemed like we should get out of the way on straightaways, but true fun. They definitely have the pace to pull the time back on future stints. That was perfect though. Like if we're talking about what the ideal overtake for a lapped car is, that's pretty much it. Because like no time was lost. Right? Like virtually no time was lost. Also, Jack is doing 45.2s on the medium. Like I'm telling y'all, I have some incredible teammates. That's, yeah. Look, what we're not going to do is talk bad about Fanatec, because I have 2 stints to do on Fanatec tonight. So, yeah, Jakey, it's so hard to go back. The G29 is a lovely starter wheel. Like, it's really great. But when you go to Fanatec, it's so much better. I can't imagine going back to that. So, Valsalenta and Little Nicky. Let's go down the field real quick, and then I will have Urban Pirate and Jaeger join me as we prepare for the start of Stint 3. So you see in the top 2, Jack 26.5 seconds ahead of Clarky. Clarky 31 seconds ahead of Valsalenta, who is 1 second ahead of Little Nicky, but that gap has been pretty consistent throughout. Lil Nicky 12 seconds ahead of Jakey, who is now only 13 seconds ahead of Wid. Wid 1 second ahead of Super Vedu. Struck 21 seconds behind. And then Hida's 4.5 seconds behind Struck. Strand 8.5 seconds behind, and Hovercraft half a second behind. We could have a battle brewing here as well. RVDW from Team Ready to Race, 36 seconds behind. Then we have Sexy Rexy, 30.5 seconds behind in P13. And then Mike Bish from Team MRL, 6 seconds behind. Hey Dan, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. All right, let's see if I can get in with Urban Pirate and Jaeger here. Gentlemen, how's it going, fellas? I figured I would hand back off to you guys here in a lap or 2. We are on lap 67, so one more lap for the lead car, and then hope it's not my teammate since Jack did that to start P2, but he had a pedal problem, so his pedal is actually not giving him 100% throttle. Belfast BAP, yep. Yeah. If you can believe it. Hey, look, I just have some incredible teammates. That's all I can really say to that. Jack is one of them. He's amazing. So which team is it? I don't have y'all's thing pulled up. Ready to Race is in P12. Yeah, is a lap down, about 2.5 minutes behind, so you'll be waiting there. Yep. So here we go. Yep. So Jack is now, or Belfast BAP. I have the nicknames on, so that's why it's not Jack, so it is. But he's coming around the final corner. He'll be coming into the pits this lap to hand it off to another one of my super talented teammates, Tank Bro. I know, the wait is brutal. Especially because, like, I know they're in party chat and they're like, okay, I'm coming into the pits now, and you just have to, like, wait for them to be like, okay. Yep. And, alright, Tank Bro should be away now. Here comes Clarky. Let's see how Valsalenta and Lil Nicky, they're still less than half a second separates them. Those two cars are going to be coming out at the same time, which is going to be really interesting. All right, here we go into the pits side by side. This is going to be crazy coming out of the pits. Y'all are about to have something crazy happen here in a few seconds. Yep. Oh, that could actually be bad because ORT and the other Race Asylum team are going to come out side by side. Like, literally, they went into the pits side by side. All right, here we go. Lil Nicky just stopped, so ORT is also out. Here comes Jakey. Yep. Jakey. Yep. Yeah. Jakey is done. The first Sector 7 team is stopped, so is Super Vedu and MRL. Strook is now in the pits. He'll be stopping in a moment. Here comes Strook, and Strook has just stopped, so next is Hida, who has also just stopped. Then we have Hovercraft from Sector 7 Racing, who is about to stop now. Then we have Loose Moose Racing, who's just stopped. Now we have Ready to Race, who is coming around the tri-oval now. Nice. Alright, here comes Ready to Race, and they are stopped. Here comes Sexy Rexy in Last Minute Racing, and then the other MRL car. Only 2 seconds behind, so the last two cars will be out momentarily. Yep, they just stopped. Here goes Mike Bish, the last car. All right, you should have all 14 cars off and running. Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, have a good stint, fellas. If you are watching Stint 2, hop over to Stint 3. It's Urban Pirate and Jaeger on the mic once again. See you guys later.